The Emperor's Game, a dive into power. One man's ambition shapes China's destiny, impacting the world. What's his endgame? His strategy for global influence? He seized control like Mao, silencing voices, changing rules, building an empire of control. His methods were ruthless, his power absolute. His vision, the China Dream, economic might, tech dominance, a new world order under his command. This is his promise, his ultimate goal. The full story revealed. A special documentary event. Watch now to understand the future.
They report the chaos. We reveal the agenda.
Good evening, and welcome to ATM. Through decades, the world watched China's remarkable rise with a mixture of fascination and admiration, observing its economic transformation and growing global influence. But in the last 12 years, that initial fascination has evolved, turning into a potent and complex mix of awe at its achievements and a growing apprehension regarding its trajectory and leadership. At the helm of this awakening giant, navigating its complex internal and external challenges, stands a man who has meticulously consolidated power beyond anything seen since the era of Mao Zedong, Xi Jinping. His leadership marks a distinct departure from previous collective models. His every strategic move and policy decision sends significant ripples across continents, impacting global geopolitics, from the contested waters of the South China Sea to the burgeoning economic partnerships in the heart of Africa, demonstrating China's expansive reach. But who exactly is this enigmatic figure whose influence now spans the globe? What deeply ingrained motivations drive his unwavering ambition to reshape China and the international order? And what is the ultimate endgame of the Emperor's game he is so strategically playing on the global stage? A game with profound implications for everyone. To truly understand Xi Jinping, we must look beyond the present and delve into his formative past. Born into the Communist Party elite, a princeling whose father, Xi Zhongxun, was a revered revolutionary hero, Xi's early life was profoundly marked by the tumultuous chaos and ideological fervor of the Cultural Revolution, a period that deeply shaped his worldview. During this turbulent time, he was sent to the remote countryside for re-education, where he experienced profound hardship, manual labor, and intense political upheaval firsthand, an experience he has often cited as crucial to his development and understanding of China's rural realities. This formative period, often described in his own words as a crucible of character, instilled in him a deep and unshakable conviction in the Communist Party's absolute authority, and an unyielding belief in China's destined path to national rejuvenation and global prominence. Unlike his immediate predecessors, who were part of a more collective leadership model, Xi was not groomed for shared governance. His career trajectory, meticulously managed and strategically advanced through various provincial and party roles, prepared him for something far greater and more centralized. Now let's talk about previous conflicts. But I can't believe I didn't. By the time he ascended to the position of General Secretary in 2012, the stage was meticulously set for a dramatic and decisive shift away from Deng Xiaoping's pragmatic hide your strength, bide your time philosophy, signaling a new era of assertive Chinese foreign and domestic policy. His first decade in power was unequivocally defined by an unprecedented and systematic consolidation of authority, dismantling previous power structures. The relentless anti-corruption campaign, spearheaded by his trusted right-hand man, Wang Qishan, served as a powerful tool to purge rivals, both real and perceived, solidifying his control over the party and military. Key figures like Bo Xilai, a charismatic politician, and Zhou Yongkang, a former security chief, once considered untouchable due to their high-ranking positions and extensive networks, were dramatically brought down, sending a chilling and unmistakable message throughout the entire party apparatus about the new limits of power and loyalty. This wasn't merely about cleaning house or addressing corruption. It was a strategic and fundamental restructuring aimed at reshaping the very architecture of power within the Chinese Communist Party. He abolished presidential term limits in 2018, a move that effectively paved the way for his indefinite rule and cemented his position as China's paramount leader. His personal ideology, Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, was not only introduced, but swiftly enshrined in the party constitution, a move that elevated him to the theoretical and ideological status previously reserved only for Mao Zedong himself, marking a significant ideological shift. Through these strategic maneuvers and ideological endorsements, he became the core leader, a prestigious and powerful title reserved for only the most dominant and influential figures in the history of the Chinese Communist Party, signifying his unparalleled authority and central role. Today, in October 2025, Xi Jinping is far more than just a political leader. He is the living embodiment of the Communist Party, and by extension, the party is presented as the inseparable embodiment of China itself, a powerful fusion of leadership and national identity. State media consistently and meticulously elevates his image, projecting him as a strong, decisive, and almost paternal figure, a benevolent guide steering the nation towards its rightful and glorious place on the global stage, emphasizing stability and prosperity under his leadership. From the content of school textbooks to the omnipresent propaganda posters adorning public spaces, his image and presence are ubiquitous, permeating every aspect of Chinese society and reinforcing his central role in the national narrative. This meticulously constructed cult of personality, carefully cultivated through various media and political channels, ensures unwavering loyalty from party members and the populace, while simultaneously serving to effectively silence any form of dissent or opposition, maintaining strict social and political control. It is this bedrock of absolute personal authority and widespread ideological adherence from which he confidently launches his truly ambitious agenda to restore China to its historical grandeur and achieve national rejuvenation. In the next part of our series, we will delve deeper into this grand vision, famously known as the China Dream. With absolute power consolidated, Xi Jinping laid out his overarching vision, the China Dream, a powerful, resonant phrase that encapsulates his ambition for national rejuvenation. This vision, introduced in 2012, extends beyond mere economic growth, signifying a comprehensive strategy to restore China's historical position as a central, dominant force on the global stage. This isn't just about economic growth. It's a comprehensive strategy to restore China's historical position as a central, dominant force, politically, economically, and culturally. It signifies a shift from previous approaches, establishing Xi Jinping thought as the state ideology, aiming for a modern socialist country by 2049. It's a vast network of infrastructure investments spanning over 150 countries, building ports, railways, and digital networks across Asia, Africa, and Europe. This initiative aims to foster trade connectivity and establish China's leadership in global affairs, creating new markets for Chinese firms and channeling excess industrial capacity overseas. It's a vast network of infrastructure investments spanning over 150 countries, building ports, railways, and digital networks across Asia, Africa, and Europe. The BRI's 5 stated goals include policy coordination, facilities connectivity, unimpeded trade, financial integration, and people-to-people bonds, all designed to strengthen China's ties with partner countries. This isn't aid, it's an assertion of China's economic gravity, creating new trade routes and dependencies. The initiative has been criticized by some as debt trap diplomacy, suggesting it gives China leverage over developing nations through unsustainable loans, though China refutes these claims. The goal is clear: to shift the global economic center of gravity towards Beijing, moving beyond manufacturing to dominate high-tech industries and financial services. This involves increasing China's access to resources and strengthening its influence in international financial institutions. The recent acceleration of de-dollarization efforts by BRICS Plus, heavily pushed by China, is a direct challenge to Western financial hegemony. China's international creditor position and global development initiatives are actively redefining sovereign debt restructuring and reshaping global governance. Beyond sheer economic size, Xi Jinping's strategy demands technological self-reliance and global leadership. This is a critical component of the China Dream, aiming to reduce reliance on foreign technology and establish China as a global innovation leader. Made in China 2025, though publicly downplayed amidst trade tensions, represents the relentless push to dominate strategic sectors: artificial intelligence, quantum computing, biotechnology, and advanced manufacturing. This strategic plan, launched in 2015, seeks to modernize China's industrial capabilities and increase the Chinese domestic content of core materials to 70% by 2025. The goal: to break dependence on Western technology and set global standards. This includes focusing on key industries such as aerospace, biotech, information technology, smart manufacturing, maritime engineering, advanced rail, electric vehicles, new materials, and robotics. The U.S. technological quarantine, designed to curb China's access to advanced semiconductors, is a direct response to this ambition. This ongoing tech war highlights the serious geopolitical struggle for technological supremacy. But Beijing's counter is to double down on indigenous innovation, pouring unprecedented resources into R&D. This includes significant investments in research facilities and talent development to foster self-sufficiency and leadership in critical technologies. The competition for technological supremacy is not just economic, it's a battle for future power itself. China's increasing number of patents filed globally and its rising share in AI research papers demonstrate its determined push for innovation. The China Dream isn't just about internal strength, it's about reshaping the international order. Xi Jinping's vision extends to a global stage where China's influence and governance model are recognized and respected. Xi Jinping champions a community of shared future for mankind, a vision of multilateralism that subtly challenges Western liberal democracy. This vision seeks a world where China's values, governance model, and strategic interests are respected, if not dominant, and where China plays a central role in global affairs. He seeks a world where China's values, governance model, and strategic interests are respected, if not dominant. China has increased its presence and influence in UN bodies and other multilateral organizations, actively promoting its model of development and governance. From the South China Sea to the halls of the UN, Beijing is asserting its claims, building its military, and actively promoting its model. This includes expanding its naval presence and engaging in diplomatic initiatives to solidify its global standing. This is the new global struggle, not just for influence, but for the very definition of the future world order. The pursuit of the China Dream poses a significant challenge to the existing international system and its norms. In the next part, we will examine the tools and tactics Xi Jinping employs to achieve this ambitious dream, often with an iron fist, This will delve into the methods and strategies used to consolidate power and advance China's global agenda. Xi Jinping's grand vision for China, often referred to as the China Dream, cannot be achieved without absolute control. This control is meticulously applied both within China's borders and in its interactions on the global stage, shaping every aspect of its domestic and foreign policy. This is precisely where the iron fist of the party becomes undeniably apparent. It manifests through a sophisticated and pervasive system of surveillance, stringent censorship, and calculated coercion. This system is meticulously designed to ensure absolute ideological purity among its citizens, to silence any form of dissent, and to project China's growing power wherever and whenever it deems necessary, both regionally and internationally. Domestically, Xi Jinping has meticulously overseen the construction of what is now recognized as the world's most extensive and technologically advanced digital surveillance state. This intricate network monitors nearly every aspect of public and private life, creating an unprecedented level of governmental oversight. From the ubiquitous facial recognition cameras that blanket urban centers to the sophisticated internet censorship mechanisms, famously known as the Great Firewall, every single citizen's digital footprint is meticulously tracked, analyzed, and stored. This comprehensive data collection ensures that virtually no online activity goes unmonitored, creating a pervasive sense of constant observation. The social credit system, though still in a continuous state of evolution and expansion, serves as a pervasive and powerful mechanism. Its primary function is to reward conformity to party directives and societal norms, while simultaneously punishing any form of dissent or behavior deemed undesirable. This system influences access to services, travel, and even employment, creating a powerful incentive for compliance. This digital panopticon, a system of pervasive surveillance, extends to brutal crackdowns on ethnic minorities, most notably the Uyghurs in Xinjiang. In this region, over 1 million people have reportedly been detained in what are officially termed re-education camps, but which human rights organizations describe as internment camps, where severe abuses occur. It's a system meticulously designed to ensure absolute ideological loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party and to preempt any potential challenge to its authoritarian rule. Reports from these camps detail widespread human rights abuses, including torture, forced labor, and intense political indoctrination, all aimed at eradicating distinct cultural and religious identities. Abroad, the iron fist of the Chinese Communist Party manifests itself through a rapidly expanding military power and the implementation of assertive gray zone tactics. These strategies are designed to achieve strategic objectives without crossing the threshold of outright armed conflict, creating ambiguity and challenging established international norms. Under the leadership of Xi Jinping, the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, has undergone a dramatic and comprehensive modernization program. This transformation has forged it into a formidable military force, now demonstrably capable of projecting power far beyond China's traditional borders, extending its influence across the Indo-Pacific and globally. The primary focus of this military expansion and strategic projection is clearly directed towards several key areas: Taiwan, which Beijing views as a renegade province, the strategically vital South China Sea, and the overarching objective of challenging the long-standing naval dominance of the United States in the region. From the militarization of artificial islands constructed in the disputed South China Sea to constant and provocative incursions into Taiwanese airspace, Beijing consistently employs coercion. These actions are carefully calibrated to remain just short of outright war, yet they steadily erode the existing status quo and assert China's territorial claims. This calculated salami-slicing strategy, which involves incrementally eroding the status quo through a series of small, often deniable actions, is a clear testament to Xi Jinping's calculated and long-term approach. His ultimate goal is to reclaim what he views as China's rightful territories and spheres of influence, patiently advancing Beijing's strategic objectives. Diplomatic engagement under Xi Jinping has undergone a dramatic and noticeable shift. The era of what is now widely known as wolf warrior diplomacy sees Chinese envoys aggressively defending Beijing's interests on the international stage and frequently lashing out at critics with confrontational rhetoric, often disregarding traditional diplomatic courtesies. Simultaneously, China employs its vast economic leverage as a powerful tool, punishing countries like Australia or Lithuania for perceived slights or criticisms of Beijing's policies. This strategy effectively turns trade and economic relations into a weapon, coercing nations into compliance or silence through economic pressure and sanctions. This potent combination of hard military power, calculated economic coercion, and assertive, often confrontational diplomacy clearly demonstrates that Xi Jinping is unequivocally willing to utilize every tool at his disposal. His unwavering objective is to achieve the China Dream, regardless of any international outcry, condemnation, or the potential damage to China's global reputation. But what are the ultimate costs and inherent risks associated with this audacious and increasingly assertive strategy? In our final part of this documentary series, we will peer into the complex and uncertain future, exploring the world with, and perhaps increasingly against, Xi Jinping's China and the profound implications for global stability. We have explored Xi Jinping's ascent to absolute power, his grand vision for the China Dream, and the iron fist with which he enforces it. Now we confront the most critical question: what does the future hold for a world increasingly shaped by and potentially in conflict with Xi Jinping's China? The single most dangerous flashpoint remains Taiwan. For Xi Jinping, reunification, by force if necessary, is a non-negotiable component of the China Dream, a historical imperative. U.S. intelligence reports indicate a continuing buildup of Chinese amphibious capabilities and readiness for a potential invasion by the end of the decade. A conflict over Taiwan would be catastrophic, not just for the region, but for the entire global economy, disrupting vital semiconductor supplies and igniting a potential direct confrontation between the world's two largest powers. It is the ultimate test of Xi Jinping's resolve and a crucible for the future world order. Beyond Taiwan, the world is grappling with whether it is entering a new Cold War with China. The U.S., under continued bipartisan consensus, is pursuing a strategy of de-risking and friendshoring, attempting to decouple critical supply chains from China. But many nations, especially in the global south, are wary of choosing sides, preferring engagement with both. Xi Jinping's strategy seeks to accelerate this multipolar trend, forging deeper alliances with Russia, Iran, and developing nations, while undermining Western hegemony. The stakes are immense, not just economic dominance, but the very values and principles that will govern the 21st century. Decoding Xi Jinping's grand strategy reveals a meticulously planned, long-term vision rooted in a deep sense of historical destiny. He is a leader who has demonstrably prioritized party control, national rejuvenation, and technological supremacy above all else. For the rest of the world, understanding his unwavering resolve and comprehensive strategy is no longer optional. The question is not simply what China will do, but how the world will respond. Will it choose confrontation, cooperation, or something in between? The choices made now by leaders across the globe will determine whether Xi Jinping's emperor's game leads to a new era of prosperity or into the abyss of a global reckoning. Thank you for joining me on ATM.